everybody to WagerTalk Today. I am Lawrence Prezman. We got a great show lined up. Let's make some money. We got Gianni The Greek right off the bat. He's going to give us the Steam report. Where are all the wisest syndicates putting their money today? Andy Lang after that with the prop bet report. He's got some prop bets for us. Ralph Michaels will take apart every single NBA game on the board. There's 2 going today. And Sean Alvarez, the horses are Saturday. Who doesn't love the Kentucky Derby? I won my biggest bet ever in the Kentucky Derby about 15 years ago. I bet $60. I won roughly $15,000. The whole thing was an accident, and I'll never forget it. Sean Alvarez to talk Kentucky Derby. Let's start right off the bat with the great Gianni The Greek. How are you, my friend? What's going on?
Tired, man. Not too good, Prez. Moved into a new house. I don't love it. I'm paying $600 a month more for it. And I was good, man. I was good. And now, you know, having to move this shit isn't fun. And then just, yeah. You could tell. Energy's bad, right?
Yeah, well, moving sucks. I am sorry. Normally, I'm just expecting never been better. And that goes to show.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I had a beautiful house. Right behind me was a lake. I had a balcony over my freaking
So what happened?
bedroom. I had an awesome house. Just started looking because the lease was up for a new one. And then the chick fell in love with this house. And then I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. And then I moved in yesterday. I'm like, dude, this is like half the size of the other house and we're paying more for it. It's like half the yard. It's not as private. Like I had it nice there. Huge house, like 4,000 square feet. It was perfect. But, you know, what are you going to do? You live and learn.
Wow. Gianni's really down. Everybody, a moment of silence for Gianni. Whew. Okay. Welcome, everybody, to the chat room. Fritz, Ryan, UC Panda, Gia, Block, Tavier. Love seeing you guys. Gianni, we got 2 NBA games going tonight. Where are the wisest syndicates putting their money?
The only thing they jumped out on was Houston, and it makes sense because even though Golden State is up 3-1 in the series, when they're the road team, unlike yesterday where the home team's up 3-1, 2 out of the 3 games, in this matchup, historically, they don't do well. Like they're not able to close it out. In fact, it's only happened 13 times in this first round where it's gone like this. Yep. And only 4 of the 13 times was the team in Golden State's position able to close it out in game 5. They usually had to go to a game 6. So historically, it looks good for Houston. And the wise guys bet Houston as well. The betting public's two-way on this. The only thing that sticks out is regardless of what side they bet, they're betting it with the over. And that's the only reason you're still seeing this line at about 204. Otherwise, I did see some sharp money come in under at 205, right at that opener. The first hit was under, got to a 203.5 at some places. But since then, it's been more than enough public money on the over to help balance that sharp risk because it wasn't multiple betting syndicates that got behind it. So in conclusion, sharp bettors are on Houston. Historically, it sits well. Houston wins the game more times than not, 7 out of 10 times in this spot. Also, sharps like the under opposed to the over, which is being bet on by the betting public. In the second game, Lakers, Minnesota, good 2-way action there. Nothing to report from the betting syndicates and nothing even from the recreational bettors. Historically, here's what happens. Teams like Minnesota don't do well here. Lakers are usually able to push it to a 6th game, but that's why you're being asked to pay 6 points for it. I don't love it. I like the opener at 4.5. You did see some sharp money lay the 4.5. Again, history goes to the side of the favorites in tonight's games, but I think that's why you also saw the betting syndicates get out and bet these money lines. Like they're not laying the 6. I could tell you that. I haven't even seen the 5.5s. I did see -4.5 in one of the accounts. And I did see money line bet on both in the accounts. But it seems like that the public is pushing this Lakers line up to as high as -6 and the total also betting it over. So recreational bettors like both these games over. Sharps, again, have not gotten involved on the total in the second game.
Gianni The Greek joining us, everyone. There's the Steam report on the NBA. We got 3 NHL games going today. Gianni, where is the money going?
Sharp money, they're on Florida. They like Florida tonight as dogs against Tampa Bay. And let me pull up a little history for you there. And it makes sense. A team like Florida only wins this game, able to shut it out on the road. Again, they're up 3-1, kind of like in the NBA. Those teams don't do well. 7 out of 10 times, they're just not able to close it out on the road. The home team has been able, what's it called? Excuse me. I mean, the road team hasn't been able to close it out, but the Sharps are bucking that history, and they're on the Florida side, expecting Florida to close it out in Tampa. I don't love it all that much, but I can tell you that the recreational bettors in that game, let me just confirm that. Yeah, they're on Tampa as well. So it seems like the Sharps are on an island by themselves. History likes Tampa. The public likes Tampa, but the Sharps are on Florida. Also, the overs is just, I haven't seen a single under bet. It's not Sharp, but any recreational account that bet this total has already bet it over. So be careful there at 6.5. And in that second game, Montreal and Washington, no surprise, Washington's in every parlay up 3-1. And they usually get it done here about 6 out of 10 times. So historically, they tend to be the right side. In all the rounds, it's even greater. Like if this wasn't the first round, it's like second round, third round, Stanley Cup, they win this game. They close it out like 6, almost 7 out of 10 times. But for some reason in this first round, it seems like the team behind 3-1 has been able to extend it at least, a little greater than 40% of the time. No sharp money to report. It's all one-sided public. That's why you see some of the square shops, they're up to -190. And you see some of the sharper shops like Bet Online are at -170. So you see that discrepancy in price. Always go with the sharp out. Always pay more attention to the sharp out. The square out that I'm talking about, they won't book a sharp better. So, they're getting nothing but favorite money. They're not going to get any, they're not going to be able to write any bets on the other side. So they're just going to keep jacking that price up. Right. Where if they did allow sharp bettors, they would have already gotten involved because it's so off market. Like I said, I'm seeing 175s, 171s at the sharp outs. The square outs, I'm seeing as high as -190. So
that's amazing.
Difference there in prices. And finally, Winnipeg and St. Louis, another situation all over. Sharps did bet the under at 5.5. I'm surprised that's not at 5 yet because of the sharp money on the under.
It's at 5 pretty much everywhere.
It's now 5 everywhere. Yeah, I thought that would happen.
It is heavily juiced. 5 plus 120. So you can get 5.5s out there as well. 5s and 5.5s. And I like that bet. I like that.
What do you think of Winnipeg? They're the one spot where they do shut it down. Winnipeg, they're 2-2. This game 5 is critical. That obviously.
Yeah.
And they usually get it done in this first round. It's higher than almost any other round where they do get the W. Obviously, they're the better team. That's why they're home for the series. But 7.5, almost 8 out of 10 times they get this W in game 5.
Yeah, listen, I like Winnipeg tonight. Edmonton got the W last night in the exact same spot, so they bucked that trend. But I like Winnipeg tonight, and I talked about it on the blue line. I mean, one of the reasons from my perspective is, and it's counterintuitive, it's literally how bad Winnipeg has played the last 2 games and how horrible Connor Hellenbach has played, pulled in both games. So to me, this is a get-right game for Winnipeg. I think they win, and I like them in regulation, Gianni. I think they get it done before overtime. I also like under 2.5 goals allowed by St. Louis. I think we see a 3-1 game, so I like the Jets in regulation, under 2.5 team total in St. Louis, and under on the full game. Right. Thanks for asking, brother. What else you got going in baseball? Anything?
Yeah, early afternoon action, White Sox over Milwaukee. That's offsetting the public money. That's all over the Milwaukee side. No surprise. Sharps did bet that one. Took the home dog in the White Sox. Another total that stuck out a lot, and this is opposite of what the public's doing, but it just shows you how much steam has come in on the under in Minnesota Cleveland. Started betting it under 8 last night, up to -125. I wish I gave it out to subscribers because I really like that under myself. But I try to stay away from most of the overnights because a lot of it is manipulating the board. But then they came in and went under 7.5 as well, all the way up to -125 again, so that they don't have to go under 7. You're seeing the piggybackers go under 7, though. Yep. Public's going over in that game, but heavy steam, under 8, under 7.5. Couple sides that stick out. Pittsburgh, another sharp versus kind of square situation with the public all over the Cubs, and the over and the Sharps on Pittsburgh and the under in that game. They like that under at 9, though, laid up to -130 to not have to go to 8.5. They went under 9, and side where you got the public and the recreational bettors on the same side. The books are going to hope they're both wrong. They love San Diego today. That's why it's juiced higher than it would have been otherwise, because the sharp money came in overnight at like 125, 130. Since then, it's been public money as well, betting San Diego. And the one that surprised me a little bit was the Mets. Sharps bet them last night at +105. Recreational bettors betting that same side, but at like -105 and higher. So they're both on San Diego and the Mets, but they're opposite on Pittsburgh and the under, where they're going Cubs and over, and also Minnesota, Cleveland. Public's going over. Sharp bettors like the under. And that first game in the afternoon, the White Sox, which is obvious, sharp money. You see that line moved very much compared to considering, all the money on Milwaukee. That's pretty much what's going on in baseball.
There we go. Gianni the Greek, everyone. Gianni, I have a quick question from one of our listeners. Random picks. How do you know when you're a sharp bettor? Can a regular guy become a sharp bettor just by making correct bets?
Yes. Here's how you do it. It's the same way that I look for guys that win. And I work with a specialist in MMA. You have to, if you're profitable over 1,000 bets, some groups look for 2,000 bets, but I think you have statistical significance after 750 to 1,000. So after 1,000 bets, if you are profitable, you document your 1,000 bets and you're profitable, you're now a favorite of about 60%, 55 to 60% to be profitable again over your next 1,000. Like if you've been able to do it over your first 1,000, you should be able to do it over your next 1,000. That's at least how the betting syndicates look at it. The second way, and the more obvious and quicker way, is are you getting closing line value? Meaning regardless of results. I said it before, I'll say it again. There's a video of me getting kicked out of Mandalay Bay. I'm getting kicked out of Mandalay Bay for playing blackjack, even though I'm down lifetime there over $40,000. The reason they're kicking me out isn't because I beat them for any amount of money. It's because they know I pose a threat. And if they deal me the cards long enough, they're not going to beat me. Same thing with sports. You could be losing money to a book, but if you're beating the closing line, he knows you're a mathematical certainty to turn a profit long term, as long as you're managing risk correctly. That's how they grade you. That's how they label you. I put in 3 baseball bets. A guy gave me an account. I put in 3 baseball bets. 20 minutes later, calls back and says, bro, they shut down the account. Regardless of the outcome. The book didn't know the outcome. And in fact, I went 1 and 2 that night. But he saw that I laid -120, and 5 minutes later, it was -135, -140. And all 3 of those bets, he saw the exact same thing, that I beat the closing line by 5, 7, 10 minutes. He knows if this guy's doing that, he's going to beat me. I don't want to deal with that action. So grade yourself that way. Have a documentation of 1,000 bets. Be confident if you're profitable after 1,000 that you'll do it again. And more importantly, if you're getting closing line value, you know you're on your way to where there's nothing they can do about it. You make enough bets, you become the favorite. You're a mathematical certainty to be profitable as long as you manage that risk correctly. That's on you. Because again, you can have all the winning information in the world, but if you overbet your edge, you're going to lose money. I did that over and over and over again until it finally sunk in that I can't overbet my edge. Because even with winning picks, if you bet size incorrectly, you're not going to make money. So beat the close, have a long-term profitable record, and stamp yourself as a sharp, brother. You don't need me to tell you you're sharp. You do it yourself by being able to do that.
There we go. Gianni the Greek, everyone. Outstanding stuff, Gianni. I hope you have a better day, dude. The place is going to come together, and it's full of love and laughter and life. So it'll all work out, bro. It'll
love
all
you,
work
brother.
out.
Thank you.
You too, dude. Be good, everyone. Great show still to come. We got Andy Lang with some prop bets, Ralph Michaels with some NBA. We're going to do a deep dive into the Kentucky Derby. That's this weekend. Sean Alvarez joining us. And if you guys haven't seen Marco D'Angelo's Kentucky Derby video, it's up at WagerTalk TV right now. It's gotten a ton of positive reviews, so please check that out. For all the guys up there, for all the guys that have put in the comment section how much they're going to miss me. This is my last week hosting WagerTalk Today, and how I've been a part of your life. I feel exactly the same way. You know, all of you guys have been a part of my life. I log on every day at 12 o'clock. We chat. It's great. But I do have another show coming. I will not be announcing the format of that show yet. Still working on it. But we have another show coming at the end of August. And plus, Andy Lang is going to have me on during the hockey playoffs once a week on WagerTalk Today. So I'll get to see you there. What up, Andy? Let's get this going. How you doing?
I'm good. Our good buddy Marcus is in the chat. Marcus was the one that asked about why do we sell picks, and I owe you a thank you, Marcus, because that question kind of skyrocketed me to a little bit of fame. Marcus says we're still going to say we're number one. Listen, I looked this up. This is true. I am number one in 1.5% tennis plays on Tuesdays.
There you go. I'm not. But yeah, listen.
Much love, Marcus. we're just having fun. Just having fun.
There you go. Thank you, Phantom Picks. Really appreciate it. Andy Lang, what prop bets do you have for us today?
You know, when Teddy was on, he used to do the bad beats thing. Can I give you a hilarious bad beat from last night, Prez? It may have been a game you were watching. Were you watching the Minnesota Wild game? No.
I actually watched the Leaf game, but I quit midway through the third period because I played my own hockey game.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So we talked about Ryan Hartman to have over 1.5 shots on goal. Prez, he crosses the blue line, comes in, fires the puck once. It hits the goalie. It bounces back off of him into the goal. Okay. So he scores a goal, but he gets credited with 2 shots on goal on that one quick play. We're thinking like, whoa, what a miracle cash. Then they do the review, offsides.
Yep.
They take both shots.
It was so horrible.
Oh, I'm not a fan of the reviews on the offsides when it's a little bit ticky-tacky. I think that's one of those plays where if the refs miss it, they miss it. You just let it go. Are you a fan of those replays? I'm not. I think it slows the game down, and I'm not a fan.
You know, it's an interesting question, Eddie. I'm a fan of getting it right. And whatever it takes to get it right is what should happen. The bottom line is there should be a microchip inside of the puck because we don't know if the puck goes into the net or not either. And sometimes it's stuck under the goalie who's lying down, but it's in the net, and then the goalie moves it forward. I want them to get it right, Andy. So if that means review the plays, so be it. And
it was the guy that was offsides was nowhere near the play. It was just one of those whatever. All right, let's get into some free plays. All right, we'll start off in the NBA here, Prez. We're gonna go with Julius Randle. I will be fully transparent here. My NBA playoffs have not been good. 2-6. Had an incredible regular season. Take this play for what it is because I have just not been good for clients in NBA play. So we're going to lay off of NBA. I cannot recommend getting any NBA plays, but I'm just not going to have any for a couple days. So take this free play for what it's worth. I do like Julius Randle over 20.5 points. The Lakers are just having real problems with the physicality of these guys, and especially Randle. I've been really surprised how good he's been. 25 points, 22 points, and 27 points the last 3 games against the Lakers. Shooting 46% from the field in those games, averaging 17 shot attempts and 5 3-point attempts. I think Randall has turned out to be a really big mismatch advantage for Minnesota. I would expect him to get the volume and do some work down low. He's been getting to the rim. So I do like Julius Randle over 20.5 points. But again, full disclosure, my NBA playoff picks have not been that good.
Well, you know what has been incredible is your NHL prop bets, and you can hear them every single day on the blue line. You weren't on today. Andrew McGinnis was on for you, but guys, you got to check out Andy's NHL prop bets on that show. I think you were like 22-8 last we spoke, something like that.
Yeah, it was good. 2-2 last night. So, nothing to write home about. So
you got a prop bet for us in the PFL and one in the UFC. Let's go.
Yeah, you're going to get your Kyle Anthony fix tomorrow, so I'll do my MMA spiel and free plays today. We do have a PFL pack that is up right now. We're 5-1 in PFL. That is a sport we've been running good in, so that I can absolutely recommend with confidence. But, Prez, let's do an underdog. Our good friend Carl Williams steps in short notice, and he's going to be plus 205 over Oleg Popov. Carl Williams is taking this on short notice. I have seen this before from Carl Williams. He stepped up to the plate on very short notice on Contender Series. He was a minus 700 underdog. His opponent was minus 700. He was like plus 400, and he won. He is a wrestler, and so is Popov, except Carl Williams I actually think is a little bit better of a wrestler than Popov. Popov goes for these single legs. He gets reversed. And Carl Williams is this collegiate style, American style wrestler. I think he's going to give Popov real problems here. His cardio is fine. He got cut from the UFC after he tried to be a striker for one fight, but he's going to get back to his wrestling roots. And you're getting plus 205. I actually thought he might open at pick'em or even a favorite. So plus 205 over Popov, I think is a big, big mistake. So there's a nice juicy underdog for you.
Andy Lang joining us. Andy, you got a 5% parlay. What's going on with that?
Parlays have been great for us. They continue to cash, and the 5% plays continue to cash 10-2 on those. It is a UFC and live golf parlay. We hit our 5% last week on the UFC and live golf parlay, so we're going to go right back to it. They've been really, really solid for us this year. Good source of building the bankroll. But let's take a look at UFC, and let's take a look at Santiago Ponzinibbio over Daniel Rodriguez. Both guys are 38 years old. Daniel Rodriguez needed a split decision to beat Alex Morono, who is a completely shot fighter at this point. In his last fight, D-Rod looked old and slow. And Prez, Ponzinibbio has had cardio issues in the past. He hasn't looked good, and gosh darn it, he showed up to his last fight, and all of a sudden he just had a little bit more muscle. His cardio issues were completely gone. He had plenty of energy to get a knockout in the third round. I'm not saying he's on the special vitamins. I'm just saying that's an odd transformation at age 38. I think Ponzinibbio is going to pull away in rounds 2 and 3. Daniel Rodriguez's cardio is just not there anymore. Ponzinibbio's was there in his last fight. And if Pons is on the special vitamins, he is going to romp over D-Rod in rounds 2 and 3 to get a 29-28 win. So that's how to pick him. I like Ponzinibbio over Rodriguez.
I want to be on special vitamins. Andy Lang, everyone. Thanks for doing this, brother. We'll see you tomorrow. Oh, wait. Tomorrow you're not on, right?
Yeah, you got Kyle coming on. He'll give you your UFC fix.
Perfect. Andy Lang, everyone. Outstanding job. Guys, if you like what you're hearing, take a second out of your day. Hit that like button. Subscribe to our channel. Check out all our content. Puck Time is our another NHL show. It's up now. So you can see that. Same with The Morning Wager. Brian Power and Mark Zeno. Check that out. Russell Deck, Prez, nice call on the Mets game going over last night. Thank you, brother. Pleasure, my friend. That was a client play. We went 2-0 in baseball last night to continue that run. But I did lose my 3% play in hockey last night. Still 8-3 in the playoffs. Happy as a clam, really, as far as how my hockey betting has been going. So no complaints. We're going to lose some along the way. Ralph Michaels joining us, everyone. Ralph's going to take apart both NBA games. How are you, Ralph?
Prez, doing great. And if you don't mind, I want to throw some extra information in here. I want to just quantify what VR was talking about. I always enjoy signing in early and listening to Gianni. Here are the actual numbers, Prez, for NHL series up 3-1 when you're down 3-1 as the home team. If you're at home and you're down 3-1, those teams have gone 12-12 since 2015, only 24 times. But with an average line of minus 134, it's actually minus 10.1% ROI. So home teams down 3-1 have been a negative. Road teams down 3-1, like the Canadians, have actually gone 28-24. And why is that impressive? The average line has been plus 176. That is
Wow.
plus 47.8% ROI. So just to quantify a couple NHL 3-1 home and away, teams down 3-1, both home and away.
That's amazing. Great stuff. Well, before we get into the NBA, I want to talk about what's going on over at Sports Memo. It is Customer Appreciation Day this Wednesday only. Basically, it's $1. Get the best bets from your favorite handicapper over at Sports Memo for only $1 single dollar. Every single this includes every participating handicapper, and no limits to how many you can buy. So if you want to try 10 different handicappers, it's $1 each. Customer Appreciation Day over at Sports Memo, only $1 single dollar.
Prez,
Yes, sir.
Don't tell anyone the secret, though, okay? We got to keep this between us and the chat room. Let's see. Ben Burns is on WagerTalk. His package is $25. That same package is $1 at Sports Memo. So, let's see. What should you do with that? Head to Sports Memo and just, hey, Ben and Jesse are both there. Ben took over part of the leadership of Sports Memo. So a great time to take advantage of that quirky offer deal that's only available at sportsmemo.com.
There you go, guys. $1 only. Check it out, sportsmemo.com. Ralph, let's get into some NBA tonight. We got Golden State +4 playing Houston, a total of 204.5. Houston has lost the last 2 games and are in, I guess, what we call elimination mode. 3-1 for Golden State. The last game was really, really close, 109-106. There was some refereeing discrepancies, etc., etc. How do you bet this one?
Well, listen, you've got to remember, me being a Cavs fan, Andy being a Pacers fan, when a team has lost for several years and then makes the playoffs like Houston did as the number 2 seed, it takes a while to learn how to play basketball, playoff basketball in the NBA. Both situations, both games today are exactly the same. 3-1, the team trailing is at home. So I have one trend to share with you in this video, and I have another trend. And again, remember, both apply to both situations. But when a round 1 team that is a better seed is a home favorite of -2 or more off a loss, they have gone 38-29, 57% against the spread, and 52-15 straight up. By the way, in those 67 games, 64% have gone under. There's only one thing to point out when you're looking at this series. I think Golden State is up by 12 or 13 points. That's a very small margin to be up 3-1 and only have a collective score up by under 20 in those 3 wins and 1 loss. It is free throws. Houston has been horrific. 11 of 20, 55% game 1, 14 of 24, 58%, and 19 of 31. They missed 12 free throws in last game loss, where Jimmy Butler, boy, that may be the trade of the century, getting Butler to Golden State. And what he proved, even hobbled, coming back with 27 points and 5 rebounds and 6 assists. But Houston has gone to the free throw line 95 times and has made 60 free throws. Golden State has gone to the free throw line 69 times. That is 28 times less, and they've only made 6 fewer. But with that said, I think Houston can bounce back here, back at home. You look what they did at home. They shot 43% and held Golden State to 39.5% in that 104-93 win. In the 109-94 win, correct. So I look at the situation. I think Houston has to shoot better free throw wise. I think you have a big bounce back after playing those 2 games at Golden State and having your fans back at home.
Yep.
I like the under and I like Houston, but I did not get to the window laying the points with Houston. I did put them in a parlay on the money line. So Rockets for me, under as well.
Ralph Michaels joining us, everyone. Ralph, before we get into the Minnesota LA Lakers game, what do you have to promote?
Prez, I have my first MLB 5% for the day, and I just put it up a couple hours ago. I mean, I went through all the sides, and I didn't find anything that was big play worthy. And then when I started going through the totals, I do have a 5% tonight. It's my first MLB 5%, and my 5% totals in the last year, a perfect 5-0-1, 100%. And how about this? If you've never made a purchase at WagerTalk, or you have not made a purchase in the last 30 days, you can save $30 off my 5% play. Buy my play for $35. Use coupon code NEW and the number 5, no spaces, NEW5. You'll save $30 off that 5% and get it for $5. Again, that's only for brand new customers or customers that haven't made a purchase in the last 30 days. Take advantage. Try me out. We thank you for being new customers watching the show, and especially new customers that purchase at wagertalk.com.
There we go, Ralph Michaels. Let's get into some LA Lakers. They're minus 5.5. They're playing Minnesota. Total here is 210. Really amazing how much defense is being played. This total is too low according to the last 2 games. I'm curious what you think there. Lakers got to win here. They're also in elimination mode. They're at home. Will they get it done, and will they cover 5.5?
Well, Gianni talked about some of these numbers. Let me give you the exact numbers, quantifying them. Home favorites of -2 or more, down 3-1. So we're in Game 5 of the series, like both the Rockets and the Lakers. If the home favorite of -2 or higher, they've gone 18-4 straight up, Prez, 14-8 against the spread, and 8-13 over under, 62% to the under. Since 2009, 11-3 straight up, 10-4 against the spread, and 71% to the under. Now, I do want to mention in that system, Prez, when home teams a home favorite down 3-1, the first half average score 52.5 to 46. They're plus 6.5 points per game in the first half. Second half, only plus 3.7 points, 47.8 to 45.1. So it does say, the system does say, first halves are slightly more advantageous in this game. If you watched the last Lakers game against Minnesota, you thought the Lakers were going to come away tied. Minnesota outscored the Lakers 32-19 in the fourth quarter to end up winning that game by 3. Anthony Edwards was amazing.
Yeah. Fourth
quarter, 16 points, 43 points on the game. But this is the biggest thing that jumped out at me. Last 2 games, Naz Reid, first guy off the bench for the T-Wolves, plus 19. His plus minus is 19. LeBron James, the last 2 games, minus 14, and Doncic, minus 19. So LBJ and Luka in Minnesota combined were minus 33 in their plus minus. That will get corrected today. The blaring thing for me, though, and why I can't bet the Lakers laying this 6, in the 4 games, they have had 13, 12, 16, and 10 turnovers. Not horrible. That's averaging about 15 turnovers, 14 turnovers per game. On defense, non-existent. They have forced 10, 11, 8, and 9. They have forced only 38 turnovers in 4 games. I don't ever remember seeing a playoff game in Game 5 of a series with that few forced turnovers on defense. I watched LeBron close out too many big games when he was on the brink of elimination and play incredibly well. I do expect him to do so again. I lean Lakers on the money line, and I would look at some LeBron props. I think if anyone is going to be completely focused, it would be him in this role today.
Ralph Michaels, love having you on, Ralph. Have a wonderful day. Kick ass. Thank you for doing this.
Hey, Prez, let me just jump back real quick and say this, guys. When I left the competing company 7 years ago and I knew Brian and he introduced me to Marco, The first call was to Prez as the WagerTalk owner talking about the situation. And I just want to say with complete sincerity and from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you taking a chance on me, joining the WagerTalk family. You've been incredible hosting this show, and I know your next show is even going to be better. I'm looking forward to watching it each and every day.
Ralph Michaels, thanks, brother. Really, really appreciate it. And I'll tell you flat out, one of the best hires we ever made. That's for damn sure. Talking about one of the best hires we've ever made, Sean Alvarez will be joining us right now. Sean, I don't know why I made that segue because you're like mediocre hire, but love having you with us, bro.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate it. It's an exciting time. We got the 151st Kentucky Derby, and thank my lucky stars by just how it ended up on the dates. I get to be a part of your graduation tour.
Yeah, there you go. Sean, I love horse racing. One of my favorite things in the world. Makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, we got to know which horse is the fastest horse. It goes back to the beginning of time. Before cars, horses were our mode of transportation, and it is super important to know that you can get to the grocery store 3 seconds before your neighbor. So I'm a big fan, and we're going to focus on the Kentucky Derby, my favorite race of all time, right behind the Melbourne Cup. You think I don't know horse racing? I know horse racing. I also absolutely loved the movie Seabiscuit. I thought it was spectacular. I loved 50 to 1. That was great. And I really loved that other movie with that really beautiful Diane Lane, Secretariat. So, yeah. With all that said, horse racing, this is where I made my biggest bet ever, dude. I don't know if I ever told you, but it was raining on a Saturday and my kids were like 6 years old, 6 and 4, bored out of their minds. I'm like, you pick a horse, I'll pick a horse. We picked 3 horses. I didn't even know how to bet it. I put it in as some kind of something or other where they all had to end 1, 2, 3 in that order. I made a $60 wager. It worked out. I made just under 15 grand. So go horses. Okay, let's focus our attention on the Kentucky Derby. The favorite is journalism, 3 to 1. Very rare that journalism is the favorite at anything these days. Do we bet this favorite? Do the favorites normally win these races? Is that short or long odds? Let's talk about journalism.
So it is a little bit more of a shorter odds trying to swallow, 3 to 1 in a 20 horse field. 20 horse fields aren't exactly something that you're used to seeing in America. It's really more of an Ascot kind of thing in England, running over the turf, kind of going in a straight line. So it's not necessarily something that I'm willing to swallow as far as a win in goes. 3 to 1 just a little bit short. I can bet 3 to 1 on any other race. There's a lot of good value races on the undercard. And just for instance, last year there was $210 million bet on just the Kentucky Derby race alone. So there's a lot of opinions out there. And you can get paid by betting probably what you bet in, the trifecta, the exacta, the superfecta, and you can get paid by having, a favorite, even winning the race. So the number 8 journalism at 3 to 1 is definitely a deserving favorite and hasn't really done much wrong. Had a bad start in his maiden outing, and has only rattled off 4 victories since then. But he's done so with really short fields, 5 horse fields in the last 3 races. Now, like I alluded to, he's going to have to beat 19 other horses. And while I believe he's a deserving favorite, while having those shorter odds, it's not necessarily something that I'm going to hang my hat on and say I'm going to bet this favorite. He's the best horse in the race. He still has to get a really good trip, and we'll kind of dive into that a little bit later. There's a lot of speed in this race. 19 other horses are trying to get their best trip as well. So while I'm not going to swallow that short price on top, it is someone that I'm not going to let beat me in exotic type bets.
Sean, Baeza, I think I pronounced that correctly. I don't know. They're 12 to 1, horse number 21. Should they be in any exactors or trifectas or outright win?
Yeah, I mean, so this is definitely a horse that you need to at least have in your, in the back of your mind come Friday, come Saturday. He does need a little bit of luck. He needs somebody in the main field of those 20 horses to defect out of the race and skip the Derby, whether that be from an injury or catching a fever or whatnot. So he does need somebody to scratch out of that race to get in. But, let's look back, what 5 years ago with Rich Strike needing to get in, and Rich Strike blew up the tote board at 80-1, not only getting in the race, but winning the race at those big odds. We're not going to see that kind of price on Baeza. Morning line, like you said, is 12-1. I think it's interesting that Flavian Pratt, my favorite jockey, I think he's the best jockey in the country. That's actually his top pick. He is on the number 2 Neo Equos, but if number 21 Baeza gets in, that is his top pick. And Neo Equos, the 2, is going to have to find a new jockey. So it's something that, you kind of have to put in the back of your mind. If this horse gets in, don't overlook him. He ran a big race last time out. Just got kind of unlucky with only having 5 horses in the field. If one other horse enters in that Santa Anita Derby, this horse gets 50 points and he's in that main field. So definitely something that don't overlook by Derby time if this horse gets into that main field.
And do you have a horse that we should fade?
Yeah, so we haven't seen Bob Baffert running the Kentucky Derby since 2021 with Medina Spirit. So you're going to hear a lot about this is Bob Baffert's first Kentucky Derby since then. He's got 2 horses in the gate. He also is the leading current trainer in Kentucky Derby wins with 6. So he knows how to get his horses ready. You're going to hear a lot of kind of public people talking about, let's not skip over the Baffert horses. But the post positions in this race and who also kind of entered this race gave Rodriguez and even the number 1 Citizen Bowl, the other Baffert, give him no favors. Yeah, he doesn't want to be, tucked in that close to the rail with 19 or 15 other horses, bearing down on him. But there's a lot of speed in this race. And if you look at the way that Rodriguez has run in his past races, he's never passed another horse in the stretch. He needs the lead. He needs to be, setting the race on his own. And if he gets caught in the lead in this race, he's going to be going way too fast, way too quickly. And that favorite that we talked about, the number 8 Journalism, drawing to his outside, should be sitting just off the pace, maybe not get first run, but, we're talking about the best horse in the field, kind of zeroing in on the number 4 Rodriguez. I just don't think that he can hold up or go slow enough to have enough in the tank, come that last eighth of a mile at Churchill.
Sean Alvarez joining us. You can find him on Twitter at SmoothTurn2. I'm surprised SmoothTurn1 was taken. I'm a snotty man today, Sean. I got a golf lesson in a few minutes though. So I'm excited. I'm excited about that. I golfed last week. Sean, you and Marco, a couple other guys are incredible at betting the horses. I know you're giving out a lot of information on the Kentucky Derby now, and we've got one more segment still to go with your long shots. But what do you have going for the clients?
So I've got full card selections, give you my top 4 selections in order for every card in the race on the Oaks and the Derby. If you bought my packages before, that's what I've always offered. It's kind of a choose your own adventure, whether you're, a win better at exacta, like to play pick 3s or pick 5s, you can kind of, pick and choose what you want to do. But for the first time at WagerTalk, I'm actually giving out my best bets on the card as well, in a different package. If you don't want to, go through the guide and make your own decisions, I'm giving you exactly what I'm playing and what I would play in a contest. I've had good success in contests in recent history. Finished 6th in the Kentucky Derby contest back in 2023 by turning $2,000 into $16,000. So this is right up my alley. If you just want my bets, don't care about anything else, I've got that package up as well.
There we go. You can find him at wagertalk.com. Let's get into the long shot segment. You've got 2 20-1 long shots. Are these bets horses that we should take to win or to put inside of a pick 3 or pick 5?
Yeah, so kind of like I alluded to, with $210 million being bet on the Kentucky Derby, I really like exactas, trifecta as a a way to get paid a little bit more as opposed to win bets. So I do like the number 10 Grande at 20-1, ridden by Johnny V, trained by Todd Pletcher. The human connections are there, and this horse has gate speed. Like I alluded to, there's a lot of speed in this race. I really think that they're going to be cooking early, and that really sets up for a closer. We saw what this horse did last time out in the Wood Memorial. He chased Rodriguez, who had the race completely on his own. He was never going to get to him, but he ran a really good race to finish a game second. Now we get a little bit of an upgrade with Johnny V. And like I said, he's got tactical speed from the gate, so he doesn't need to be too far back. Johnny should get him in a really good stride, get him comfortable, and try to chase down those leaders. Like I said, hopefully they go too quick, too early. And, leaning onto that, the number 14, Tistastic at 20-1, a Steve Asmussen trained horse. If you're listening to, what we, the talking heads, if you will, a lot of people are talking about how poorly this horse is working. His stablemate publisher is outworking him in each and every time that they're on the track. But if you followed this horse, in previous circuits, he's a really poor worker in the morning. Everybody knows that, he just doesn't put out his best effort in the morning. He's a colt by a filly out of Tappet. They're generally full of themselves. Trying to get them to do something they don't want to do is not going to happen. So, I do like the way that this horse is coming in. Ran a really good race in the Louisiana Derby last time out. Being ridden by Joel Rosario, he's got really quiet hands. He's a great finisher. And like I said, if they go too quick, too early, this is one of those horses that is going to be part of that cavalry charge, trying to chase down those tired leaders.
Sean Alvarez, anybody? Outstanding segment. I'm hoping I won't be around, but I'm hoping Andy will have you back for the breeders and the other one. Wait, don't tell me. Breeders and Prezmans. No, what is it? Breeders.
Presidents. You got me saying presidents. It's the Preakness and the Belmont.
Preakness and the Belmont. Dude, there's only so much I can follow. Okay. They're like legitimate. I just can't know it all. Anyway, Sean, I wish you the best. I'm telling you right now, I swear, this is totally true. I'm going to log into the back end, get your picks, and I'm going to bet them blind. Okay? So I'm going to...
Let's do it.
I will bet exactly what you are telling me to bet in exactly the way you tell me. And I will do the same with Marco. So I will bet his... and I will bet yours. Hopefully one of them will win, because horse betting, it's like 20-1 or something. So hopefully that all works out. Anyway, what a show. So much fun. Thanks for doing this, Sean. Guys, shout out to you all. Hit that like button. Subscribe to our channel. Awesome show. So fun. Shout out to Gianni, Andy Lang, Ralph Michaels, and Sean Alvarez. On behalf of Dan Alexander, we'll see you tomorrow.